Um, Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to the seminar. So the BFM committee are elated to present this webinar on the unholy grail of media market and scams. So before we start, I would like to welcome our esteemed principal, Dr. Pooja Ramchandani ma'am, and our vice principal, Dr. Naveen Punjabi sir. However, they could not join us due to some unexpected commitments, but their constant encouragement and support is always going to be with us. I would also like to introduce our teacher in charge of the BFM committee, Dr. Shweta Singh ma'am, who is the backbone of our committee and without whose support, we would not be able to achieve anything. She always helps us to see our potential and bring out the best in us. We also have a co-teacher in charge, Professor Vicky Karnani sir, whose exceptional guidance is instrumental to the committee. I request ma'am to say a few words.
Thank you, Yashvi. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome Mr. Pratyush Bhaskar. So welcome over here. On behalf of HSNC University HR College, we would like to welcome you for the session. So as title, all of us are aware of what is this all about, because social media has impacted our lives majorly. And sir is going to actually address the people who are all Gen Z, and Gen Z are so much highly influenced with the media, social media. So the session is all about how is media impacting the financial markets decision, what to do, what is right, what is wrong. So without taking too much of time, I would hand it over to Yashvi to introduce Sir formally, and then we take forward for the session. Thank you, Yashvi.
I'd like to introduce the speaker for today's session, Mr. Pratyush Bhaskar sir, who is a multilingual business broadcast journalist, financial trainer, media consultant with over 20 plus years of on-field experience of working and creating content for noted media houses like Z Business, DD News, News 24, TV9, TV18, to name a few. He has worked with SEBI, NSE, and NSDL as a resource person. He is currently the Chief of Content with Raa Media Pvt Limited production house. We are very excited to have you, sir. I would now like to hand over the session to sir to begin.
Thank you so much, ma'am. First of all, it's an honor addressing such beautiful students. I don't know whose honor is it more, because I don't know whether you guys belong to a college which is graced by people who were students in your college, like Deepak Bhai Parekh and all, people who have covered. So we always say I've covered banking. I consider myself a student of banking without studying even a single word of banking. I'm actually a zoology guy from St. Xavier's. So, in our time, we were taught life science is all about botany, zoology. But when life became my teacher, he taught me life science is all about commerce and economics. If you don't understand money management and cash flow, then may God bless you. This you won't realize because you're sitting in the creme de la creme. But if you come deeper, as I don't know whether you realize I'm right now sitting in a airport lobby of a northeast state where I came for my program that I have to do for World Investor Week. So I'm traveling across India, and it's my humble request to all the HRians. You guys have got the best pedigree. Please come out of that place. Get into this financial training. I should not be a journalist. I should not be sitting here. My work is basically getting into companies' balance sheets. और उसका बैलेंस शीट निकाल के दिखाने का कि क्या झोल चल रहा है. And believe me, I've enjoyed doing that. इतना मजा आता है seeing a CFO literally getting weak in the knees when you're sitting with the numbers. But I'm not saying that we are very good at that. But believe me, sometimes just sitting with a CA and seeing that glint in his eyes when he goes to particular numbers, it gives you a lot. I don't know whether you've ever played rummy. आपने rummy कभी खेला है? Rummy में देखना, you never play cards, you play the players. Isn't it, as they say? So in numbers also we play the people that we have in front of us. Many a times when we go for press conferences, it's not just about what we see in front of us. It's what people are trying to project to us. Whenever we've got 2-3 results, these things come up to us. Being financial journalists, as you would have seen, I was lucky enough to work with some big places. So it just showed a different world altogether. So today, the topic is self-explanatory. Believe me, Vicky sir has actually goaded me into getting into this part. I don't want to talk all this because the kind of people I'm working with was was as a financial trainer. When I was a reporter, I was cats whiskers, maza aata tha, giving people tough time. But right now I have to have a very circumspect view. So let's be honest to everybody around. the regulatory body is trying to do its best. Recently, you would have seen a big exchange, the moving and shaking happened. Top people also had to move around. You would have seen, I mean, I can't name them also, but you would have seen, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, co-location and all. These things have happened. But you have to give in to the fact that at least the regulatory system is so strong that the cognizance was taken in due course of time and people were put to task. So that is the best thing. You can't throw in the towel. If you go around India, not just India, globally, if you see the financial system is not in a very healthy state, so to speak, in other places. In India, at least you have something good coming. So without further much ado, I'll start my session by sharing. Okay, can I share my screen because I need to show up, presentation.
Sure, sir. Yashvi, we can give the.
My voice is not clear, Tushar. Am I audible now?
It's little bit echoing actually. Little bit echoes.
Yeah, I'm actually sitting in an airport lobby, so you have to bear with that. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So since the session was very important, I said, and I have to do this, then I'll do whatever. So kindly bear with it. Now I think I have the permission to share screen, right? Okay. Now where's my presentation? Just a second, guys. I'm a Neanderthal as far as technology goes, so you have to bear with me. Okay, since it's World Investor Week, boss, you'll have to bear with this presentation, which we all have to show wherever we talk about whatever, in a nutshell. This is the PPT. I'm sharing it. Is it visible now to one and all? Okay.
Yes.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Great. So anybody and everybody who has been, we all from Bombay, right? You all recognize this building. This building belongs to an organization called Security Exchange Board of India. Where is it?
You can unmute yourself and speak. Let's make it very interactive.
Unmute. Okay. Yeah. Everybody, yeah, sure. Please join me because this is not a monologue. Okay. Now, why am I giving you this building which everybody recognizes this? There's a story behind this building. If I ask you a simple question, what happened in the year 1992? Pakistan won the World Cup, right? If you're a cricket fan, you'll say that. But being finance guys, you'll also remember there's another big funny thing happened. What happened in 1992? You would have seen Ansal Bhai's scam series, right? Harshad Mehta scam. So that happened in that year. Why am I giving special impetus to that year? Because before that year, nobody knew about SEBI. People were talking about SEBI ko lana. Harshad Mehta scam happened. People used to invest in the markets. Agar paisa fasa, people would go to the local police station. There you have senior PI Power Sahib would say kasara tumi kare fasa, and then he'll have his own way of talking to you. He'll say, "Boss, mere paisa fasa hua hai."
इंडिया में जो फॉरेनर्स काम कर रहे हैं वो कर रहे थे
half murder, 354 molestation, nothing beyond that. So economic offences was growing.
Sir, can you hear us? We couldn't hear you in between.
Guys, I think I lost you in between.
Yes.
Am I back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So I was talking about before 1992, there was no time Mr. Harshad Mehta that he brought about a big scam, as we always say about we talk about scams. But Harshad Mehta नहीं आते तो again और companies have come. I don't know whether you guys I'm extremely sorry, people. Really sorry.
Sir, if there is a problem in the network, what we could do is you can switch off your video since you have to
Okay.
share the screen, or
Okay.
so that
Okay.
would be like able to manage the things.
Okay. This time, if it goes, believe me, I'll do that only. Okay. So, just finishing the story about SEBI. So, what happened is because this scam happened, SEBI came, and you would realize, as I was talking about, maximum scams happen. If you see the biggest of big scams, it is the people which are registered with ROCs, not listed with exchanges. In exchange, if you go, believe me, there's too much of checks and balances, and believe me, sooner or later you'll be caught. There are people who have been caught doing insider trading. I mean, this is some sort of a favorite sport with so many people, isn't it? वो होता रहता है. And believe me, whether you admit it or not, people have actually gone on the wrong side of the law, and SEBI has caught them red-handed. So you should thank SEBI. This is the story about this, so to speak, an organization which has done a lot. And why is SEBI important? If I say in a typical these days, you watch a lot of South Indian movies, so SEBI is like the Surya Singham. But Surya Singham ko तब पता चलेगा that something wrong has happened when you go and approach SEBI. 90% of people in India, they don't even know what Security Exchange Board of India is all about. They don't know it's like the, financial inspector, financial policing के लिए इसको बनाया गया. But nobody knows about it. पहली गलती, people invest without knowing about SEBI. Second, after investing, they go hide in a corner. Oh, people make fun of me. I've actually lost so much money. You should not do that. If you have some issue, please approach SEBI. वहाँ पे लोग बैठे हुए. Believe me, in the case of Sahara, when I was in TV9, I used to be approached by every Tom, Dick and Harry, every Jane Julie Martha. That sir, मेरा पैसा फंसा हुआ, please निकलवा के दो, 20% आपको हम दे देंगे. Who said we can't take money because we are the prophets? But we used to tell them, boss, ये helpline number है 1800-26 That is helpline number of SEBI. Anybody can call. You can get information about companies which are listed around. Anything that you have any issues, it is there. People speaking different languages are there who can help you out. So these information nobody has. Now, since you're studying Indian financial market, you would still be knowing. Common people don't know. Believe me, people are just like me. Science guys, finance ka for bhi nahi pata hai unko. So it's very important in today's session, since we're talking about media, market. Media, believe me, market was already there from ages back. Media ne aake na, believe me, like sada dal tha tarka maar diya. Everything became very like glamorous. And mera problem kya hota hai? I'll give you a small example. You guys, as ma'am said, Gen Z, you've got everything in front of you, हमसे पहले boomers थे, then, millennials थे. Generations have come. If you see, I won't take the name of that person, but you know whom I'm referring to. There's a guy who's into comedy, stand-up comedies and all that. He's written a bestseller on financial planning. So I don't know whether, in what way shall I take it? Because, Warren Buffett has got a very nice quote. He says, when your washer, when your dryer, when your pan wala starts giving you advice, it's high time you should start selling. Jokes apart, I'm not trying to belittle anybody, but what I'm trying to say is today, everyone, if you see now talking about market, even to this day, 20 years covering market, I still feel like a novice when I talk to people, people like people on banking. It's so much to learn. So my humble request is, I know these are like some very basic things, but I will try to take you on the media side of it, how we look at it. Like for instance, financial planning. You all have heard of family planning, limiting number of children family. Financial planning is limiting financial liabilities in life. Financial liabilities बोले तो जहाँ पे पैसा जा रहा है, आ नहीं रहा है, isn't it? You always have this definition on what is an asset, what is a liability. There's a guy called Robert Kiyosaki. You would have read his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Please read it. Wonderful guy. I don't know whether you know his story. This guy used to be a naval pilot. He was with America. He used to keep bombing all the places, looking for mines. Then he realized, those mines are bad. You should go for the right mines. Now he's into gold digging. He's the biggest gold digger of the right kind, not the wrong one. Okay. Now he's one of the guys, if you take his assets in commodities, which is gold and silver, he is by far richer than even Warren Buffett, doesn't matter. Though he never comes from the limelight. You know what he said? He says he doesn't believe in human created currencies, that is dollar, sterling, pound, euro. He believes in God created currency, that is gold and silver. And he says one day silver price will outstrip gold because silver has got industrial usage, gold is not having that. So these are certain things that you start coming to know. And believe me, these things you wouldn't have known if media was not there. Media has done something funny also when you see the news these days, but you have to give them some due credit. People have started knowing about it. When 2008 financial crisis happened, people are talking about boss, what is inflation? Inflation became the buzzword. People who didn't know what it meant started using it very often. Every social do used to be like, you have to think about the top line and bottom line. People started talking about it, and media has a lot of role to play. But problem is, the mayhem starts when people start taking things which are faddish, like crypto. I'm pretty sure, jury will be divided in this class if I start a session on cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. I'm not denying that. But even regarding that, I've got a very simple common refrain. You know what I say? I keep giving people example of Shani Shingnapur. Have you been to that place? वहाँ पे it said that Shani Bhagwan का मंदिर है and there was nobody stole anything. One day what happened? Our senior player Tawra Saab went there, and since there was no stealing, I mean, he said, "Boss, चोरी में तो पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे?" You know what I mean? So he shut the whole police station and opened a bhajan mandi. One day somebody stole something. Since there was no police station, there were people go and file complaints. In the same way, if you talk about blockchain technology or cryptocurrency, there is no regulatory body out there. Government of India has told so many times to RBI and said, "Bhai, kuch to uska 20-point charter, kuch white paper nikalo." People are very skeptical. No, 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 you take the taxes. Sitaraman is taking taxes on that, but they still are not very clear whether it's legal or illegal. So my point is, wherever there's any bit of uncertainty, you should tread that with a barge pole. Simple as that. So financial planning is a very interesting thing. We also today would like to know about how SEBI works, how we buy and sell shares, mutual funds, and in case if somebody has some variance, how to address it. And financial planning, that's very interesting thing. What do you do financial planning with? You do with money. What is money? Money is something that which Mr. Mukesh Bhai, now though Mr. Adani has, and my father doesn't, isn't it? Anybody with more cryptic answers? Okay, you'll have so many. But just to give you an understanding, when we talk to a person who's a lay person, how do you make that person understand what is money? My simple example, if you take this human body as a, say, economy, what is the role of blood? Blood takes all the various food, nourishment, oxygen to various parts of the body. In the same way, money is for wealth distribution. Money is not for hoarding it somewhere. Anybody who thought of that, please take that notion out of your mind. It's for not for wealth accumulation. It's for distribution. If I ask you a simple question, is money doing its work right now in the society? It's not. That's the reason you've got so many people who are very poor, some are very rich. But that is not just because money is not doing its work, but it's also because people don't know how to become rich. Believe me, becoming rich is a mindset you have to create. And when I used to be a zoo guy, now I'm into hardcore finance. I love the transition. I always tell people, your life is like that 5-geared motor. You have to keep changing the gears. So whenever you find something nice, change the gears. If you don't, it's not about how fast you go. You can take the same example with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are very smart, very strong, but they didn't survive. Not because they were weak, but they couldn't evolve. So in the same way, this economy has to evolve. We used to be a saver's paradise. India is still a saver's paradise. People save a lot, but from saving, it has to go to investment. It's like, the system is pushing you. If you look at the banking system today, you look at the rate that you'll get in debt funds. You look at the bank rate that you get. And if you see how interesting, your mutual fund, which is with the exposure to equity market, to, commodity market, gold ETFs, interest is so good. So why all this has come into a place? Because people started understanding it, what all is happening around us, isn't it? So my humble request is just gather information. Media is filled with it, and I'll give you another snippet of information. These days channels like CNBC, they don't prefer reporters like us. They prefer people who are having commerce background to join them. So anybody who's very good at numbers, you can always think about getting into equity analysis. Equity analyst is a wonderful job, and generally people from commerce background go to that, not people from journalism, because we have to study a lot. Then we come. So anyway, just to give you an idea, money is basically something that gives you a lot of options in life. Now, if I normal thing that comes to our mind is, can money buy happiness? You might think yes, no. It gives you choices. What you do with the choices, that will make you happier. Now, if you have money, you put it in some place, like say some chit fund, Rose Valley, Narda, Sada. Do you think you're doing the smart thing? You're not. If you make a right choice, you put that money in some nice mutual fund which you've been tracking. Look at the asset under management, net asset value, last the chart that you go through, how it has gone up. If you see a good curve, go for it. So it's very important. Today you can earn how much money you want, but if you don't know how to manage your money, the money will not stay with you for long. I'll give you a simple example of Ambani brothers. Look at Mr. Mukesh Ambani. He knew how to play his cards well. See where Mukesh Bhai is. Anil Bhai, despite being very good in his business, he was not able to manage his resources quite well. See where he is. Today, his condition is in such a precarious position that he has to sell his Shadi ka jewelry for making up all the legal expenses, which is running with all the banks from China, where he's owing truckload of money. So my simple point is, you can belong to any family, fantabulous family. If you don't know how to manage money, it's difficult for you to survive. And these information has come through media, which media has been helping a lot. Now, there's two important terms that you keep coming across: savings and investment. How do you differentiate between both? Savings is, I'll give you a simple example. Say any girl, say if you have a piggy bank, what do? Say if your brother gives you 10,000 rupees in the Raksha Bandhan, you would put that money in a piggy bank. If you keep that money for 10 long years, simple question: will the money increase, decrease, or remain the same? Anyone? Just think, you've kept that money for 10 years in a piggy bank. Will the money increase, decrease, or remain the same? Most of you would think money will neither increase nor decrease, remain the same, right? That is the face value. But the real value money goes down because of inflation. So what you should do, imagine if you have a piggy bank which can give equal amount of money that you're putting from outside. That is what mutual fund is all about. That piggy bank has got four different, differentiations. It's like, it is having debt, equity, commodity, property. When we think of investment, where do we invest? There are four different areas: debt, equity, commodity, property. You all know that debt is when you put your money in banks, fixed deposit, insurance. Banks ka kahani to pata hoga, isn't it? Bank was very safe, still is safe, but till two people came in this world. Who two people? Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya. Now you're scared putting money in the bank. Now I'm not saying about the other bank. There are some banks where you feel some banks are good, but if you go to the fringes, you're always scared. RBI is taking license of so many banks these days, isn't it? So it's your scary part now. Bank, another issue is that if you put money in the bank, you think your money is growing. It's not. And please do check your monthly statements. You realize every month they're charging you 25, 30 bucks, isn't it? So imagine around 300 rupees goes for your QR code scanning and all that you do, electronic PCS and everything. And on top of it, bank has other charges. So in a way, banks have almost become like Swiss bank these days. They are charging you for putting money and hardly giving 2 to 3%. It's nothing. So then in that there's something else, which is called insurance. Now insurance is a very funny subject. I don't know. You've got something called term plan, endowment plan. And the fun part is that what? A lot of people who don't understand anything about investment would always want to monetize their debt. In India, people know life is cheap for people. I don't know for what reason. So what they do is, like, husband will have an insurance policy in the name of wife because husband would love his wife a lot. And when she dies, he would love her even more. Why? Because after dying, he's left him richer by a crore. Same with wife. Wife also rich for husbands. Marega to crorepati bana ke jayega, isn't it? They keep fighting all their lives. But who becomes crorepati in the process? The company which is pushing these policies to you by saying zindagi ke saath bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi, aapko mamu banate rahenge, isn't it? Now, I'm not against any company, but I'm just trying to tell you how things work out. Recently, that company had an IPO also. You know what happened. Problem is, that company has been used by government. You all are well-read people. You all read things in news. This was a company that is being used like a largest unofficial bank of India, isn't it? Every government that comes, well, it was IDBI. Remember, IDBI could support 30% stake LIC. Then it was ILFS, उसको support करने के लिए LIC का पैसा लगा. So in a way, LIC is being used for all these things. And abhi uska IPO. So in a way, if you see, what is LIC? It's, I would say, rather blood money. If people generally monetize the death, your boss mere puchoga mere parivar tha. And if you go to villages, believe me, I travel across India 8 to 9 months doing these financial awareness programs. The kind of people I've met, the kind of funny ideas people have about investment. So my simple request is, insurance for later, you have to understand something very, very clear. Insurance is not investment. It is for eventuality. Something happens, God forbid, then you've got something to fall back on. Then after that comes equity, if we are talking about stock market, commodity, gold, bullion, sona, chandi and all. Then property, real estate. These are four places that you invest in. Imagine if your smart piggy bank has got four of these compartments, and if you're smart enough to understand how much money to put where, don't you think your money will grow? Isn't it? So understand, this market is for us to explore. People don't understand. If you do, sky's the limit. Okay, this is just a small slide just to give you what happens to your money. If you put your money under pillow, household savings, it doesn't grow. Piggy banks, already I told you. Gold, people are scared, because it can get stolen by people around. So, theft is another issue. You're always scared about the security part. Now, if you put your money, in equity market, in investment, what happens is your money is used for growing the economy of a country, isn't it? How market works is like almost like, say, your mom, dad, elder in the family, they have some money for you and they love you a lot. So what they do is they will take out the Tata Yellow Pages. That was something that we used to have in our generation. You can will tell you, ma'am will tell you. You won't understand what is Tata Yellow Pages. You got Google. So, anyways, so dad would open Yellow Pages and he'll take out Ratan Tata Sahib number and call him. So I know you are quite old now, but I know that you do make some of the very good business decisions. There's some money that I have got. Please take this money, give me your account number, I'll put this money into your account. And whenever you make any business decision, use my money. If it grows, give me a share out of it. Stock market works pretty much like that, isn't it? But you have to understand something. Mr. Ratan Tata would be, if you invest there, you become a chota malik. Mr. Ratan Tata would become a big malik. But you both are owners, isn't it? It's not that simple. You can call up Tata stuff like that and you can invest directly. You have to go through a deep brokerage firm. So market has been made in such a way that shares are not normal product. They are like, you have to invest to study the brokerage firm. Now, we need money for a lot of things like higher studies, marriage, uh, you remember that Bajatia's movie? First movie was Maine Pyar Kiya, right? But if you don't have money in your pocket, that movie that will be released will be Hum Aapke Hain. Remember that. So, honey, it's all about money. Okay. Buying house, bangla banega naira, you need money. Retirement. Believe me, people like Vicky sir, me, Shweta ma'am, we all can't afford to retire if we don't have some money, kept in some pension scheme. Because believe me, the kind of funny things we've done to our parents, I don't know what the next generation will do to us. So please respect your parents, boss. What goes around comes around. Okay. How do you? There are different kinds of needs that we have. Savings needs, very simple. Like you need money for your daily needs. You have an exam, you would require some money for that. Short-term goals, protection needs. I said insurance is required. Investment. Say one of you becomes a chartered accountant. Most of you would want to become a chartered accountant, isn't it? Now, becoming a CA, it's really tough, but it's very good. You'll be one of the few guys who will know how money goes around. CAs are very good in cash flow and money management. Two very important things that makes the world go around. Okay. Whenever you tell people to invest money, they've got a simple reply to anything that you put through. You tell them to invest money, they say, I don't know, I don't have money to invest. Is it really the right thing? You see, every third person has got an iPhone in their hand and they say, don't have money to invest. So you can put money in any faddish thing, but you can't put money where money can work for you. That again brings us to a very interesting thing. We work for money, money can work for us also. And believe me, the last 2 years of COVID has actually made us realize that if you're one of those, average Joes who goes around early morning, get up, go to office, earn some money, then you're able to put food on the table, then that is old school. By that, you can't survive. The new school system is you sit at home and make your money work, isn't it? That is something that you would have realized, during COVID, the market has doubled. People like Mr. Adani, Mr. Ambani, they all have become richer by so much more. People sitting at home, we became poorer because we didn't know how to make our money work, isn't it? Another company, Amazon, you would have seen during, these lockdowns, the kind of killing they made. Why? Because you would have seen, isn't it? The kind of money is made. I mean, two things have happened. People have either done online shopping or they've opened demat accounts, isn't it? Online shopping say people ensured a very nice retirement to Mr. Amazon. वो अलग बात है बीवी ने डिवोर्स सारे पैसे निकाल लिए दैट्स भगत की कहानी almost everywhere isn't it एक तक कुछ टाइप so jokes apart that is almost everywhere second thing people have opened a lot of demat accounts believe me last 2 years the kind of number of demat accounts have been opened which is many times more than what people have opened in the last so many years of the market operation so to cut a long story short when people sit at home money can't sit at home money has to move around so it's very important you should know how to invest but why will you not invest money? Because you don't know how to do it. There is a simple reason. This first equation is how our fathers work. The poor dads work. Rich dad works in this way, isn't it? Poor dads work. Whatever money brings, mom, dad would bring home. They would say, okay, this much is the expenditure. They'll remove. Income will remain. First they spend, and whatever is remaining, that becomes savings. That's a typical household story. Isn't it? Difference rich dad would be, say, people like Mr. Adani, Mr. Ambani, will come home until, isn't it? He'll call Lita, and he'll say, okay, this much of money I've made by putting money. Okay, sorry, you won't call me. Right, anyways. So he'll say, come here, Nita, I made this much of money. From this money, I'm removing savings because we made a lot of money from, Geo and everything. From the remaining money, you can buy another IPL team. Rohit is not, rather Rohit is playing very well. You can buy a couple of more players. So from the remaining money, Neeta Ben will do whatever she wants. They will not touch income, and that's how Mr. Mukesh Ambani became Mr. Mukesh Ambani. It's not because he's rich just because he's rich. He knows how to be rich. Problem is today when you talk to your mom and dad, tell them these things. These are very basic things people don't realize. Believe me, if you do it, it makes all the difference. Okay, I won't take much of your time, but this is a very cute, flowchart that we generally follow in understanding financial planning. This has a story, so let me tell you the story. What is the story? How do you do financial planning? We keep hearing it. How to do it? The first step is identifying your goals. If I ask you, do you have any goal in life? जिंदगी में कोई goal है? क्या सब कुछ goal है? Anything, you would be having some goal, isn't it? Like I'll give you a simple example. Very many years back, just like you two students were sitting in their college. Okay, that was not HR, that was Harvard. People were Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, isn't it? Steve Jobs was somewhere else, but Bill Gates was there. That was a maths class, and Bill was there, and Bill suddenly, maths teacher said, "Bill, what are you doing in my class?" Now, Bill used to be a, software programmer, used to write a lot of programming. He was very good at that. He was doing this, that. So he thought of, joking with his Jesus, I'm playing video games. He had something, some pamphlet voice, he was trying to do that. Because he knew, sitting here in Harvard, whatever it brings, the kind of stuff I'm trying to do, I can do wonders. So the math teacher got curious. He said, Bill, playing video games in my class, Bill, out of the gates. Now, before Bill went out of the gates, did he open Windows? He opened Windows because he knew whatever Windows he's opening, next couple of years, he can make, Gunny sack full of money. That's what he's done. So my humble request to you people is also, I know that HR is literally putting in you. The others also should learn from you that whenever we study something, remember there has to be a goal orientation. Because even when I was in science, my mind was always into the financial part of it. Boss, how 10,000 rupees become 1 lakh rupees? Should achievement means, isn't it? If you ask me what are the best figures in this world, it's not Katrina or Salman Bhai. It's all money. And it's because of money that you find these people shining everywhere. So jokes apart, it's if you understand that part, it makes your life a lot easier. So first is identifying your goals. Half the battle is done. If you know your goal, very good. Then comes identifying assets. To reach your goals, you need assets. Hamare assets kaun hote hain? Mom, dad, isn't it? Then identifying your liabilities. I would call it responsibility. Say you've got younger sibling. This is the mamla. So you pay some money for their this thing. You don't take money from them. Then comes likely future earnings, future expenses. So two things will happen in your life. You'll either have highest earning, less expenses, or more expenses, higher earning. Generally, it's the other way around. Your earning would be lesser, expenses would be higher. It happens most of the cases, especially young people, because you're with so much of energy, isn't it? You want to spend. Sometimes you spend for right reasons, sometimes you do for wrong reasons. So you are in trouble, isn't it? It's never equal. It will never be. So if it's higher the expenses, lesser, you'll be in trouble. Agar either to, it's better. What do you do in that case? अगर ज़्यादा ऐसा हो रहा है, you have to plan. How do you plan it? Planning क्या होता है? If you're able to save some money, that money should go into some sort of investment. Putting money in suitable product. At your age, best product that you can think about investment is mutual funds, isn't it? I'm pretty sure you'll be knowing about mutual funds. You've heard of SIP, systematic investment planning. Please do it. They're like mini piggy banks. If you have that piggy bank system, it will really work for you. Then comes review. So please understand, this is very important for you if you really want to get into the market. In today's time, if you don't do it, it will be really troublesome to you. Anyways, please give me a heads up if I'm going beyond my mind, because beyond my time rather, because this session goes along. Okay, so I'm just giving an idea. In today's time, media is there. You hear a lot about it. Scams will happen for sure, because there are people who are trying to sidestep the system. It's not that easy, because today SEBI has become so serious about a lot of things. You would have seen people have gone into trouble. There have been exchanges who've been put through because of that. So it's very difficult for you people at this level. I would just say learn the basics of how to learn. So another very important thing is when you think about getting into this market, there are two ways you can get into the market. First is you can invest your money. The other is you can invest your career. I'm pretty sure Shweta ma'am, all people will tell you that there are a lot of courses that SEBI people are running, NISM courses, NCFM courses NSE runs. You've got something called Market Tech Club that NSDL is running. I would suggest college management people that please approach NSE, NSDL, SEBI people, do a tie with them, because these guys are more than eager to join hands with colleges. And once you do it, it will really be good for you. So, that is one part. And when you talk about investment, there's a very simple demarcation that we do. Whenever you ask people, where do you put your money in? The $1 million question is, people will give you n number of answers. People will say, put your money in gold, put your money here, put your money in shares. I would rather say always diversify. As I said, not debt, equity, commodity, property. If you don't do that, it will be trouble for you. Okay? And whenever we think about investment, there are three important considerations. Returns. If I tell you, give me 10 rupees, I'll give you 100 rupees in return. You'll happily give me that money. But is it safe? You should always remember that. If I say give me 100 rupees, I'll give you 1,000, I'll give you say 101 rupees in return. You will not be happy. That happens in the case of debt. Safety. Safety is very important. These days you would have heard of a lot of chick fund scams. You know what they did? They would never ask you for a lot of money. They say give me 10 rupees only. But they will take 10 rupees from a lakh people. When they're taking from a lakh people, that becomes in crores. And that they do with very many people. And that's how people like, Narda, Sarda, they've done. They've not gone to areas like Gujarat and Maharashtra. They've come to West Bengal. Because out here people have got no investment knowledge. Believe me. Today also, I was supposed to meet some people, and the kind of problems they had, you laugh at it, believe me. So safety is also very important. Then comes liquidity. Say if you put your money in gold, you go to a jeweler and you say, boss, I've got 10 kg of gold, I want it liquidated. It will take some time. So jeweler might say, I don't have money thanks to demonetization and then 2 years of corona, no business, I don't have cash you have to give. So whenever you think about investment, if your investment is not liquid enough, is it good? It's not. So whenever you invest, these three important considerations are very important. They may vary from person to person. And remember, when you think of investment, if your reward is higher, your risk also will be higher. This happens in the case of stock market products. Best example, equity. If your risk is very low, reward also will be low. In case of bank deposit, post office. But if I say, boss, please put your money with me, मैं पैसा दुप्पट टिप्पट कर दूंगा. Do you think your money will grow? Your money will not grow, it will go. Because in grow, R stands for returns. Returns new to R, growth becomes goals, isn't it? And see what SEBI has said. Whenever somebody says reward is very high, there's no risk at all, these products do not exist. Somebody is trying to take you for a ride, okay? And where risk is high and reward is low, these schemes promise returns which are very unrealistic, and the capital also might perish there. When we think of investment, people have this question: how much money do I need to invest? Very simple answer. If you are at my age, you'll have to invest a lot because I've got very few productive years ahead of me. Say after 40, your opportunities start ceasing. But at the age of 20 plus, in early 20s, you got the whole world open to you. So you can start with a nominal amount, and within 30 years, with 10%, 15% of ROI, you can get a corpus of 10 lakh rupees. At my age, I'll have to literally scrap harder because I've got 2 years of work ahead. Very important question. People always ask this question that if you have to take advice, who should you? These days, you've got people sitting on news channels giving a lot of advices. I will not name them, but you would know also whom I'm trying to refer to. There have been a couple of people in top-notch news channels who have been caught red-handed. They were trying to give advices. They were trying to influence the stock prices, because of which SEBI, overhauled them. This has happened because when you have a lot of information, even when I'm talking to you, if I feel that I've got some information that you don't have, I might try to manipulate it. It's a human tendency, believe me. So whenever you think of investment, there are two ways of going about it. You can either do it on your own. Like for instance, I've got a cough right now. Now this is a simple cough. Since the place has changed, I've come from Mumbai to Northeast. It's cold outside, trouble. Or I might think, boss, corona mein wapas to nahi aa gayi hai, then I might have to go for test. So either I do self-medication or I go to a doctor. In the same way, if you want to invest, you can either use your own research, study on your own, or go to a proper guy who's a financial advisor, not an agent. Remember, there's a difference between advisor and agent. Advisor is a person who is, giving you advice according to your needs and requirements. Agent will be a person who will be trying to push a product to you, like LIC agent. I'm trying to use that name. Any company agent, they will always try to, because remember, you might say, oh, he's giving you free advice. It's not free actually. That person is getting a hefty commission to push that product to your hand. Let people do that. So remember, whenever you think of taking advice, remember if that person is registered to SEBI or not. People who trade on blockchain and everything, nothing is registered with SEBI. SEBI is nowhere to be seen actually. So my humble request is to get into it. Track record. You deal with a person 20, 30 years, what they've been doing. the qualifications, the fees. And remember, it's like, you're trying to put a seed in the ground. You have to water it properly. If you don't, it will not. It's like agriculture, you have to really work hard on it. Anybody who says you can make easy money, there's no easy money. People, even like Warren Buffett, they study a lot. They read annual reports. They have actually been telling all the Ivy League colleges. I'm pretty sure HR college would be having this very good practice. He always says that the colleges should make it a habit that students should read annual reports. Read it. This guy has made so much money by reading all the annual reports. He and his friend Charlie Munger. You should listen to his YouTube videos. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The kind of clips he's made. Beautiful, brilliant. Okay. When you think of investment, these are important considerations. It's not gambling. You have to understand where you're putting your money. SEBI, I told you, it's one of the financial market regulator. What does this particular slide show? In every sector, there's a regulator. Securities market, SEBI, banking, RBI, insurance, IRDA, PFRDA, pension sector, commodities, forward market commission, though even this is not regulated by SEBI only. So if you see, do you find blockchain anywhere? Crypto? So my humble request is, neither am I against, is not in favor. It's difficult to say which way it will go. There are people who said when it came, when Dogecoin and all, Elon Musk was talking about it, that time it was very, very early. Anything that comes early on, people want to get on top of it. I would not name those financial products, but even I tried, getting on top of couple of things. I burned my fingers, then I decided it's always good to go by the first principle. Okay. Now, under SEBI, there are 3 I's: investors, issuers, intermediaries. All 3 are important. You would have studied in your books. I won't get into it. Securities, there's equity securities, debt securities, and CIS. Collective investment schemes are dubious. Believe me, there's only one company called GIFT Gift. I don't know what it. They're into some business. That's only CIS registered with Government of India. Rest all are operating illegally. People don't even know that. CIS operates only in rural areas. If you want to understand how financial scams happen, come to rural India. There's no regulation. People don't even know about it. I have been through Maharashtra and through. You tell them there's a mala maiki. They won't go beyond it. They won't even ask. I have been to areas where people have devour me, saying that you've come from SEBI. I said, I'm not from SEBI. I'm just a trainer. I will tell you how you can take help from SEBI. So it's very important to understand these things. Since people don't have these basic information, they get into trouble. Security market, you would have studied in your books also. It gives you capital growth return. Diversification, it gives you, there's a tax benefit also, and there's return, and that's the reason. Now, this is a very important slide. It just shows you when you put your money in bank, what happens to your money. You would think you put 1 lakh rupees. If you come in the 30% tax bracket, despite everything, with 4,000 return, 4% per annum, you'll have 1 lakh 4,000. Now, this is the face value that your money has. The real value, if you see this much of tax on interest, inflation impact has already taken in, and your money, the real value of money is this much. Which means in bank, in reality, if you see your money is not growing, it's going down. So what you should do, you should put your money where it works for you. Now, when we talk about investment, we always say diversification is important. If you put all your eggs in one basket, you know what happens? Bana omelette ho jayega, and badbu alag phailega. You won't be able to eat it also. It's always good to put eggs in different places, so that if one goes down, the other has a chance of saving. Now, this is a very important slide. It shows the tax benefits. If you put money in investment schemes, tax benefits are there. Saving schemes, tax benefits are there. But in investment schemes, you will always find there's returns also. So in a way, system is pushing you from savings towards investment. So to pass this cliff, you need to develop the wings of knowledge, understand how it works, and then hop. If you don't, you will fall flat. This is what is happening with a lot of people who want to shift from debt to equity market. Government is trying to give incentives to people that you should make your money work. But unless and until you don't understand how the market works, do you think it will work for you? I would rather say understand. And please take your time. Talk to your parents who are into this money business. They don't understand. When you have a meeting with your parents on the dinner table, discuss all these things. Believe me, it really goes a long way. I remember when my father, he's a doctor, he's lost a lot of money in Hashim Mehta's scam. That's the reason I got into this. Despite being a science student, I said, boss, I'm seekne ka ek hai. And believe me, when PNB happened, my dad was like, Pratyush, what do you think? I would say, Abhi bahut sahi aur sahi. He's like, are you nuts? This bank is going down. I said, don't worry. It's government bank. Government won't let it go down. And see, from 22, it went to some higher. And he made quite a lot of money. So again, I'm not trying to, influence you by giving you tips on a neat bank. I'm just giving you, if you do some research, you understand how the market works. Now, this is also a very interesting slide. It shows if you put your 1 lakh rupees and if you consider 81 as your base year 0. So in say another 5 years, your money, if you had put money in 81, Your money would have gone to this much from 1 lakh. PPF this much. Private principal this much. So clearly, equity market has given better returns. If you keep it for longer duration, boss, you would have gone for a jackpot, isn't it? So my humble request is think about where you invest, how you invest. Your money will grow. I will not get into all this because you studied what is primary market, secondary market. Just to give you a gist, some interesting part, mutual fund, not going to do it. This is an important slide. Anybody who wants to have the best of both the world, that is equity market also and commodity, I would say go for gold ETF. If you don't understand much, you can go for sovereign gold bonds also. It's a wonderful way government is involved. So in a way, government is trying to monetize all the gold that you have. Monetize is another nice term people are using these days. The idea is just to convert that into cash. My request is whenever you think about doing that, remember cash is just like an ice cream. If you use it, well and good. If you don't keep it in. People have this notion: cash is king, cash is king, cash is king only if you know how to use it. You should always try to keep it in a form where it grows. Otherwise, cash is like ice cream. If you have a little bit, you can enjoy it. If you have too much of it, you can just start from one to the other. It will melt. Same thing happens with most of the money. People, you would have realized during demonetization, what happened? People had put everything in cash. One change, people went down the drain, isn't it? So jokes apart, you should always understand that put money where it works for you. If Indians have got manifestation for gold, please, if you want gold, go for gold ETF. If you put it traditional way, there's always wealth tax security issues, making charges. If you put gold ETF, it's just like buying a mutual fund which is investing in gold, and you can always redeem it wherever you want. Okay, this is a very important one of the last slide to show to you. Whenever you got money, you would see that people would actually make a beeline to banks. If you put money in banks, see these are all the red marks. You have issues. Jewelers, you see there are issues here as well. But e-gold, fund of gold ETF, it's all in green, which means decide where you put your money. In today's time, it's not just about working for money. You should see where your money works for you. So this is very important. Finally, never go by hearsay. If somebody promises to you returns which are very high, realistically, don't believe them. There are people who do that, network marketing, chain marketing. I've been part of that. Rather not in a negative way. I covered most of them. I lost money because I had to put a case study and all that together. If somebody says you're getting 20% of the 30-day contract, that person is fibbing. Simple as that. You would have heard of peak plantation, land, real estate, doubling investment, emu farming, goat farm. Most of this comes under collective investment scheme. Don't do that. There is very strict guidelines put by SEBI which nobody follows, believe me. So it's always better to avoid them. Okay? You've got wonderful product mutual funds and all that. Put your money there, still safer. So many frauds have come through. So which brings us to a very important part that even people like Einstein said, there is no scheme in this world that which can promise to double your money, less time, high return. There's no Einsteinian formula for that. It's simple. Money takes its own way. You have to study the returns, how it's going, and then invest. Okay. Before I end this session, this is just a small word of advice. Anybody, if you know anybody around you who's lost money with Sahara and all these companies, chit fund scams, please tell them to approach SEBI to grievance redressal mechanism. It's open just for us, people like us who can file complaints. Do that. Once you do it, you would know that your money, you can get it back. People have got their money back in Sahara cases. You can also file complaint in SEBI Sports. This is a form that opens if you click on this. In case if you want to reach out to their local offices, you can reach out to local offices in the website, investor website. This is the helpline number I was referring to at the start of the session. You can call on this helpline number. This is the mail. If you want more such programs for yourself, please do it. I would rather request, your college teachers. I think you would be getting this, opportunity. Please reach out to SEBI. Go for industrial visits, see how it works out. You can go to exchanges also. Go to Rotunda Hall in Bombay Stock Exchange. Is beautiful. We've covered so many IPO launches there. It has a history, as you know. So this is the whole session. And my humble request is, if ever you think about getting into the markets, understand the market is in a very nascent stage. It is still poised to grow. Mr. Rafi Jinwala, who just died, he was an amazing person as far as investment goes. He himself said the market was supposed to reach 2 lakhs also, because market is there to grow. People want to invest in markets. You would have seen how market is grown. Okay, so this is the session. In case if you have any questions, you can ask those questions. Ma'am, do we have any questions?
Sorry, sir.
Ma'am, do we have any questions from anyone?
Yes, so students, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for the great session. My question was, right now there are a lot of people who are making financial market content, like financial influencers and things. So are there any regulations in place, like when it comes to this type of things to prevent misinformation?
I'll give you a small example, Daniel, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, you go through a field. A field, there's no road at all. People start walking on that road. So suddenly government sees, oh, people are walking on this. Let's do one thing. Mr. Gadkari, put a road on there, put a toll tax on that, isn't it? Problem with financial, content rather, there is no financial literacy. First of all, government wants people to be financial literate. But the problem is, you know what? See, if I'm coming to you, now I went to Vicky, sir. I can't tell you what pressure right now. I've got another couple of people waiting for me. I have to take the calls and all. But I'm doing it. But why am I doing it? Because I saw my father losing money in Harshad Mehta's car. So I've seen people losing money. So that impetus is there weighing on my head. Problem lies, when people come and try to sell certain products. I've seen people, when they create content, the whole base is I teach also financial journalism. I'm with these people, so I've seen when I go on online and try to get some content to teach. Most of the content is trying to drive people towards something. You buy, 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 buy. Everybody has become Philip Kotter ka damat, believe me. Trying to sell something or the other, marketing that. That is not good. See, financial content is required. But as you said about regulation will only come when something funny will happen. I'm sorry to say that. Same thing happened with financial market. Till everything was hunky dory, nobody was losing the sleep. When Harshad Mehta scam happened, within 992, the SEBI Act came through and SEBI was promulgated, isn't it? So you have to realize regarding financial content, since government wants people at least first to have the basic knowledge, government will not put anything in place. The day government will find people are trying to sell, mis-sell, as mis-selling happens in insurance products, most of the companies do that. Then they come for a regulation. Remember IRDA? Many years back, we broke the story about insurance portability. You got MNP mobile and portability. We broke the story when I was in Z business about insurance product portability. That was announced way back, 10 years back. Abhi tak aaya nahi, wo alag baat, isn't it? So what I'm trying to say is content regulation is required, but right now government will not do anything because believe me, they are busy with some other funny businesses. They are right now not interested in, believe me. When I go for sessions, I also feel like, when I try to share certain stories, I have to create my own cock and bull stories about all these, Amazon stories, Mukesh Ambani stories and all that. You have to tell the people. But content is there. You would have seen Kunal Kamra, the one I was trying to refer to. He's written a book. It's a bestseller. I went through the book also. Nothing wrong with it. But my problem is, what? When people who understand finance, when they talk about finance, good. But somebody who doesn't understand finance is just trying to be a finance influencer, if I'm using that fancy word to get that effect, it's not good. Because sooner or later, Amazon or somebody will catch hold of them and they'll try to make them sell something or the other, which is not good. I've seen that. I've got so many people who come and tell me, Pratyush, I can get you 20%, 30% return in crypto. You've been doing this. Why don't you put your money? I said, no, Baba, I'm happy with my MF. Mutual fund is still better for me. So your question is right. I think right time will come and government will think about regulating that as well, but not as of now. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope I've answered your question. Any more questions? I'm sorry for today. A lot of funny things are happening around, so I have not been able to really do justice to the session. I would promise you someday when this technology will not be a hindrance in between, I'll be giving you a face-to-face session. Then we'll have a lot of fun. Trust me. So, any more questions? If there are no questions, shall we wrap it up? Ma'am, do we have anything else? I've taken a lot of your time, so sorry.
Hello, good evening, sir. Sorry. Hello.
Yeah, Bhavesh.
Sir, my question is, sir, how to development in the saving habit and future planning and then investment related to basic concepts should be clear in the mutual fund and then investment in this equity shares.
See, it's very simple. When I am coming out of my house, if I have to reach HR college, wherever you stay, there are ways of reaching college, isn't it? You can either walk to your college, very safe, but very slow, isn't it? Then what you do, you got a bicycle, a bit safer, faster. Then you have got a bike, very fast, but a little unsafe. Then you got something like flight. If it goes down, everybody dies. So you go for a faster mode of transportation commute, the risk goes higher. In the same way, in investment, what happens is you first start with savings. Savings is basically when you were a small child, your dad gave you 10 rupees. You went out. The first shop that you saw was lollipop, isn't it? We used to have that lollipop during our time. 2 rupees, you have the lollipop, your teeth go for a toss, that is 2 rupees, is basically lost. It's NP, non-performing asset for you. Then you come to the shop selling pencils. Remember, Shweta ma'am is having an exam next. Have to go for a test. You buy some 2 rupees for pencil. So the 2 rupees you're in the investment for future. So what happens? 10 rupees was your corpus. 2 rupees spent wrong things. 2 rupees invested for your future. Savings is 6 rupees. Now that is your bacha ka gyan. Today you are doing of 10,000 rupees. If you are earning 10,000, or you rather you are earning 10 lakh. So as you grow up, your basic information about finance, savings, investment will grow. If you don't, see, that is a theory of evolution. As I said, about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs didn't evolve. Look at roaches, cockroach. They evolve every now and then. They're going to outlive even us. We'll die very soon because of our stupid habits. We'll keep bombing each other. Climate change will happen. Water will come up. India is a peninsula. Will go down. Sooner or later, Mumbai वैसे भी नीचे जा रहा है. Next 30 years, we all are gone. So, you have to realize investment is sort of a habit that we have to grow. You would have seen a lot of people around you who were very rich once upon a time. They're not rich anymore because they don't know how to invest or rather save money. So, habits are tough to come by, but once you create it, it becomes like for me, whenever money comes to me, I always tell people, you tell me where you put your money, I'll tell you where your next 20 years will be like. You tell me what are your spending habits, I'll tell you what your future will be like. It's simple as that. So if you're putting money in the right places, if you're studying good things, but studying all about theology, psychology, you'll become too intelligent for your age, you'll have trouble. You'll be in depression, trust me. I would say start studying halka fulka finance stuff like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, Psychology of Money, Atomic Habits. I love reading those things. Believe me, it gives you so much of positivity. And that's easy for me because my blood group is B positive. Anyways, bad joke. But you for building that habit, Bhavesh, coming to your question, start with very basic thing. Whatever money you have, first of all, start opening a mutual fund. Mutual fund कैसे खोलने का simple सा है. I'm not going to give you. Just go to any Google website, put top 5 mutual fund. Check the asset under management AUM, check the net asset value. और जब से वो खुला है उसका chart देखो. How is it going up? Is it going up? And with good this thing, read about it. And very common sensical thing that I've seen people don't do. I always do that. Whenever you want to know something about any company, naam likho plus controversy plus scams. You'll have so many stupid reporters like me putting copies there, and you'll know what's supposed to do. चल से दूर हो. And believe me, if you want to get somewhere always see ज़्यादा लोग invest कर रहे हैं volume ज़्यादा है मतलब शायद ठीक हो सकता है. कम लोग invest कर रहे हैं मतलब कुछ एक family मिलके उस प्लॉट को बढ़ा देगी. This happens when you have got things about insider trading. So I would just say natural progression hota hai. You have to start first with savings, have money in your hand, and put money for the right things in your life. Okay, and every age have a goal in मेरे को ये करने का है, ठीक है? And if you do that, you will go ahead and live. I hope I have answered your question, Bhavesh. Any more questions, please?
Anyone has any questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. If there are no questions, shall we wrap it up, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, Arya, would you like
Yeah,
to
can I take over?
Yeah. Arya, you were killing with your looks. Don't worry. I saw you checking your.
No,
pencil and all that.
nothing.
Sorry, I can't
No,
do that.
nothing.
I want to scare you with my hair. Okay, jokes apart. Go ahead.
On behalf of BFM Committee, I would like to thank Mr. Pratyush Bhaskar, sir, for the insights and the valuable expertise of yours that you shared with us. This was truly a wonderful and enlightening session that we all learned so much from. I would like to thank our principal and vice principal for their support, as well as our teachers in charge. And lastly, thank you to all the students for attending and being a part of this session.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session, and see a few faculties also. So thank you, faculties, for joining in. Thank you, students, for being lovely audience, and looking forward to see you again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can we
So I'll
stop the
take your leave,
recording?
ma'am. Yeah.